To create our mood tracker, the first thing we have to do is, of course, go into PowerPoint. We're going to create a blank slide. My low content book is 8.5 by 11, so we need to change this size. So we go into View, Slide Master, Slide Size, and Custom Slide Size. Some of you will just go right here and say that's good. But the problem is that PowerPoint doesn't make it 8.5 by 11, and we want to do that. And of course we have Portrait, Ensure Fit, and here we are. So this first slide is the slide master. Anything I do to this page will be copied into the other pages. So I'm going to left click, drag, and delete what's in there. You've probably noticed that I have these really cool guidelines. Let me show you how to find them. You go into View, and right here under Show, we could have rulers. That's cool. And then our grid lines. And then I like the guide that tells me the center. The first thing that I'm going to do is actually put in page numbers. I like page numbers. There's a couple of things that we do have to be aware of. Even though this is 8.5 by 11, we need to give ourselves some space on each side because we don't want to go over that. A good rule of thumb is about 1/2 inch. So let's make ourselves a little template. And I'm going to start here, go to about 1/2 inch. All right, I go all the way down. There's about 1/2 inch. I'm going to drag it over. Right click, copy, right click, paste, right to the edge. All right, so we want to fit within these borders, a little bit over. The top and the bottom I really don't worry about too much because I just follow these guides. The other thing is that when you go into Amazon and you upload it, it always shows you what it's going to look like. So when you look at the preview, if you think I want to bring everything down, then just exit the preview, come back in here, pull things down, and then resubmit it. Let's put in our page numbers. It's really easy. So I went into Insert Text Box, and I'm going to put my text box here. The easiest way is to just insert it in the center of the page. So Insert, Slide Number. I'm going to go to Home, and I'm going to center it. There are a few reasons why. So let's think about this for a second. So if I decided to have my numbers over here, that's okay if this is the binding side, where this side is the right page and this will be the left page. But the problem is if the binding is here, the page number is right next to the binding and it might be hard to see. So if we put it in the center, no problem. Everyone will see it. Let's go to our first page, and actually our only page, but I want to look back at what we're trying to make. All right, so this is the page we're going to make. I did shrink it so we can see everything. Let's just start from the top. Daily mood tracker, no problem. Insert, text box, right here. This is where you want to change your font to whatever you like. The font I'm using here was actually $1 on Create Fabrica, and I'll put a link below. I'm not sure if it's still $1. What's really cool is they have weekly deals of some really cool stuff. But since we're only going to be using PowerPoint right now, I'm going to go down, and one of my favorites is Century Gothic. To keep us from having to change the font each time, instead of having to change the font each time, let's go into Slide Master, Fonts, and we're going to make, I have it as a custom, but let me show you how to create a custom font. And the first one, and I use Century Gothic for both of them, so let's just do this here. Okay, so now when I insert and I start typing anything, it's going to be Century Gothic, which just made our life easier. All right, you'll notice here that I have daily and mood tracker underneath it. So all you do, what about these? Where do these come from? I'm using PowerPoint 2016. If you go into Insert, Icons, and let's just go through these. Here they are, right on the bottom. Weather and seasons, well gosh. So what I'm going to do is click. I'm going to press my Control key, and I'm just going to add all of these and insert. Cool. But when I look at this, you're going to notice that they're small. So instead of placing them, I'm going to make them small so they all size to the same size. Now, I'm going to start placing them. You're going to notice that as I do this, I line them up. Okay, there we go. And this is kind of the hard part. They line up to the top with each other, And then the space is the same. And there we are. Now we have it. Look at that. It looks a little bit too big. So I created this specifically for my premenstrual
I'm gonna shrink it
dysphoric disorder book.
Here we go.
Much better. Much better. That's nice. Next we're going to put in our date. Insert. Text box. And that goes right here. All right. The idea behind these was morning, afternoon, evening, especially where moods change as the day goes by. Next, we're going to put in our little battery. So we're going to go to Insert, Icons, once again. It is. I'm going to use this one. I'm going to shrink it up a little. Now you're going to notice that in my example, the inside is blank, but in this one, it's colored. We're going to double click. If I look up and to the left, now I have PowerPoint 2016, so if you don't have that, this might not show up. But I'm going to convert to shape. I'm just going to say yes. I'm going to go and double click, and you're going to notice, let me zoom in, that the center is highlighted. I'm just going to click delete, click on there again, and delete, and it's gone. The next thing I'm going to do is put these faces in. This was one of the hardest things for me to do, because it was really hard to get them to line up nicely. But I think I did a good job. Add all of these, the ones that I liked. It doesn't matter. You can add whatever you want. If you want to do the black ones instead of the white ones, it's completely up to you. Insert. Now once again, you're going to notice that these are a little small, so I'm going to shrink them up. And when I do that, remember, everything shrinks to the same size. So I'm going to start here. It doesn't really matter where you start. And then I'm going to put these, let me bring this up. I'm going to put these so that they're touching, barely touching. And that was the easiest way for me to get these to line up. Okay, and there they are. You're going to see that it goes all the way across. I'm going to highlight. This time I'm going to make it an image. So I'm going to right click. You're going to see that they're not the same size. They don't go all the way across the page. So I'm going to right click, copy, right click, and I'm going to paste it as a picture. So now what I can do is actually make it go all the way across the page, or as far as I want it. You're probably wondering, well, why didn't you just cut, paste? Because I may want to change something later on. And if we do that, we can't change things later. I'm going to bring this up. How cool is that? Next, we're going to add these little droplets. Well, it's not in, if I go into Insert and Icons, there aren't any droplets here. So I couldn't use that. I had to go online to find a free one, a copyright free one. And this is where I found it, Kiss Clip Art. I've never heard of it, but I really like this. And it's a free download, so I downloaded it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to insert. So it's a little too big. We're going to shrink it up. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. It really doesn't matter where you put the droplets. I just decided to do it over here. And the easiest was to just use my arrow keys and place it. And paste, paste. I'm sure that there's many, many, many places to find droplets. I was just having a really hard time. Then we have our lines. Insert text box. I'm going to shift and then just don't freak out because we can bring it back to where we want it. And we just keep holding it. I believe I had 5, but it's up to you. This is when I'm going to turn off my grid lines because it's just starting to make things a little difficult to see. Right click, paragraph. We're going to click down to where it says exactly. So this is 21.6. That's a little bit larger than college ruled, which is okay. In mine, I have 5, so let's just put another one in here. And I think there's enough space to write here. All right, the next one. Well, how do we do the next one? I just highlighted it, right click, copy, right click, paste. Bring it down. Okay. The middle one has one less line in it. I just didn't think people would have a lot to say in the afternoon. And then I'm going to right click, paste, and bring the next one down. And they all line up. All right, so for the last one, I have more lines. So let's put a couple more lines in there. It's an end of the day thing. Okay, and it's just above my number. It's not really a good idea. So I'm going to take this out. We could move everything up, or just this piece up a little. Yeah, because it looks on my sample. Well, I think my drops are smaller on the sample, but that's okay. So here's our number. We're going to insert this little box here, right over here. You don't have to do this. I just think it's nice, especially when you go to the doctor and they say, well, what was your average feeling for that day? What? All right, and then average mood today, insert text box. What else do we have? Breast tenderness. Gentlemen, you probably don't understand this. Ladies, you totally do. Then the last thing I have, especially for this disorder, sometimes you just don't feel well. You just feel like doing something stupid. So I just put a nice little message at the bottom, and that actually will go up here. Insert, and then we're going to shrink it up because we need to make it fit right there. Look at that. I do need to bring it down just a little. Okay, so let's see what it looks like. Let's bring it down just a smidgen. All right, and there's our page. We're going to go up here. We're going to delete our little guides. And there's our page. How cool is that? Wow. We've been working in the Slide Master, and let me show you why. I'm going to close it, and here's my page. Now all I have to do is just keep inserting that same page. You can have other pages. This won't show. Let me show you what it's going to look like. So this is what it'll look like when you put it into your book. What I totally like about this is, let's say I'm looking here. Oh, I gotta take this out here. Okay, I'm looking here and oh my gosh, I spelled date wrong or something. Instead of having to go to every single page, we're gonna go to View, Slide Master, and go to that slide. And I'm just gonna change it to today. Okay, it says today. Now when I close it, every single copied has the word today in it. And that is gonna save you a lifetime of grief. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something new, so now you can start creating your own low content book. Until next time, have a great day.